Hey Clay, and thank you for coming to our podcast today. It's really great to speaking with you again, and even more that I've known you for a few years now, and we've been good friends. So thank you for giving us some of your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited. And it's been too long, so it's good to catch up.
Yeah, of course. So can you start by telling us a little bit of about you, who you are, and what you do?
Yeah, so like you said, my name's Clay Dimick. I'm 25 years old, and I'm an American. Um, I went to college here 4 years in the States in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a small school called Belmont Abbey. And then now I'm in my second year as a professional athlete with the Charlotte Independence soccer team. So yeah, second year as a pro.
So perfect. So first of all, congratulations on being a professional for 2 years now. And but can you tell us like when did you start like actually playing soccer?
Okay, yeah. So I was born in Texas and I started playing there when I was about 4 years old. I have a brother who's 2 years older than me, and I just wanted to be like him when I was little. So he started to play, and then I asked my parents if I could start playing. And so I've been playing for about 21 years now, 20 years.
Okay. And so you start because of your brother. Did you play other sport as well, or was it just like football from the beginning or soccer?
Yeah, so I started because my brother, but again, like him, I wanted to play basketball. So it was soccer and basketball for a while and some tennis mixed in. And then when it got to the point when I was in middle school, so for us in America, that's around like 12, 11 years old, you kind of have to choose. And so from then on out, it was just football.
Okay. And can you just tell me why did you choose like soccer and not basketball?
Yeah, well, from the beginning, I just loved the sport. Like I loved everything that goes into it, the technical piece, and then as well as just running around versus the other sports, there's a lot of stop and go. And I just kind of fell in love with the game and in love with scoring goals and winning tackles. And yeah, I just haven't lost the love for it.
Yes, that sounds good. I can relate to it, you know.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Atlanta as well, right? You moved from Texas and then you grew up in Atlanta. And then in 2013, like you say, you went to Charlotte, North Carolina to play college soccer in Belmont Abbey. Was playing college soccer something that you always wanted to do when you choose to play soccer when you were 11 years old?
Yeah, so I would say my first goal when I started playing soccer and got to the age where I actually knew what I was doing on the field would be to get a scholarship and to play soccer in college. I think in America that's kind of the main goal. And then when you get to college, maybe some things beyond that come into mind. But my first goal was to play in college and receive a athletic scholarship to do so.
Okay, and it was important for you to also get the education at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was always told you can't play soccer forever, and injuries happen and hard luck happens. So I think having an education to fall back on and using your sport to get you into the education was huge.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And what do you think, like, what impact did your college years had on you?
Yeah, so for us, and like you guys, when you guys came over here, I think those years are really important for not just us athletes, but who we are off the field. And I think off the field, I grew a lot and into a man, so to say, and learned a lot about life and about who I wanted to be as a person. And then on the field as well, it's 4 years, and those 4 years, like you grow a lot.
So you would recommend, like, any other young, like, inspiring athlete to do, like, to play college sport if they have the opportunity to?
Yeah, I think there's no negative to the opportunity. Like you said, you get the education, and as well as you can further yourself athletically and pursue a career in sports as well.
Yeah, of course. And so you spent 4 years in Belmont Abbey, but during the summer you actually play like semi-professional in USL PDL. That's actually where we met. Um, well, like, was it important for you to play those league, and how it's been like shaping you as a player?
Yeah, so yeah, for sure. I think like you know this coming from Limestone, like you guys had a really good team, but maybe the teams we play aren't always the highest level. And for me at Belmont Abbey, a small Division two school, I kind of felt like I was one of the better players from my freshman and sophomore year on. So I wanted to go somewhere in the summers where I knew the level was going to be a lot higher, and I knew that the caliber of players coming from, they're basically all Division I, all these big schools. Like I wanted to see like, hey, am I actually a good player? Can I make it in this game? And so I think doing that in the summer was huge for, one, my growth as a player, and then two, mentally my confidence, showing me that I can make a career at this and like I can go to the next level if I want to.
Okay. And like, when did you know you actually wanted to become professional soccer player? Was it like really when you were young, or was it like actually like after a few years in college, or actually during like this years, like this summer playing semi-professional?
Yeah, so I, like always growing up, I think like just like you guys, I'm sure, watch games on the weekend all the time and watch Champions League and just dream about that. But it didn't become like a real dream, like a dream that I thought I could achieve until my sophomore year in college. After, like you said, I went off to play over the summer, and then it was against guys who were getting drafted later that year or who were signing professional deals later that year. And so I kind of sat down with my head coach at Belmont Abbey and told him my dreams and aspirations as a player. And I think it was then in my sophomore year where I kind of made the decision to sacrifice some things and really go for that dream.
Okay. And during those time, because it was just a dream, like you say, you know, it was like, okay, maybe I can make it. But when did you like actually really like started to believe? Was it that at that moment that you started to believe, okay, I can make it as a professional, or was it just like a dream? Okay, I want to be professional, but I don't know if I can make it. Or did it happen like later, like maybe after your senior year, maybe, or like, okay, now I know I can actually make it?
Yeah, I would say the summer we met was big for me personally because um, that was my first summer playing outside back. Like I had never played outside back before, and that's where my coach said, like, I think you can have a career at this game at outside back. So playing that summer as a fullback, I think we played against some really good teams, and it just showed me like I can hang with these guys. Like I'm just as good as players, and yeah, I don't go to like Stanford or don't go to UCLA or these big schools, but if you're good enough, the scouts will find you, the agents will find you, the clubs will sign you. So I think going into my senior year, the summer before my senior year was probably the turning point for me, where I was like, if I put everything I have into this, I can become a professional.
Okay, and so like you say, you play outside back, but before that, where on the field like did you play? And now you still play outside back, so I guess like you like that position.
Yeah, so growing up, I was a center mid. Basically until college. My freshman year in college, I came in as a center mid. And then sophomore year and junior year, I played center back, which is like totally new for me. I didn't like it at all. But then I realized when I sat down with my coach that outside back would be a good fit for me at the professional level. And that's where I am playing now and in my second year as a pro as an outside back. But I think it's important also to know that being a versatile player, like it could be frustrating in the moment for younger players growing up, knowing like their coach just plays them wherever. But having that ability now, I think makes you more valuable as a player.
For the team.
Yeah, for the team. And at the end
Yeah,
of the day, like the coaches want players who are going to do what's best for the team.
yeah. Because in case of somebody get injured, they know they can count on you
Yeah,
to to play another position.
right.
So would you like to stay outside back, or like sometimes do you feel like, oh, I wish I could be like playing more on the middle or like more forward?
Yeah, there's definitely times where you miss the middle of the park just because you're on the ball all the time and you can go forward. You don't have as much defensive responsibility, but for now I'm happy there. Try to prove myself there.
Yeah, of course, of course. So after college, you in 2017, I think you decided to move to Australia, and you play with like two different teams. What was like for you moving abroad for the first time in your life, and chasing that dream of being a professional player?
Yeah, so um it was really kind of spur of the moment decision. My agent who I had been working with, to kind of backtrack a little bit, I went on trial with Colorado Switchbacks in the USL
Okay,
Championship my senior year, and it was in March, and it was their preseason, and an agent had seen me out there when I was playing, and I ended up coming back. Things with Colorado didn't work out, and I finished my degree. And then by the time that was done, the agent kind of had a deal in Australia for me, and so by the time that came up, I just figured I would go for it and really just kind of see if I could handle it as a person and as a player, just all the change and all the new stuff. And so when I went over there, it was tough. Like off the field, I would say it was a lot tougher than on the field. On the field, soccer is like everybody says is a universal language. You can kind of pick up and like everybody's the same on the field. But off the field, you're in a new environment, and luckily there's no language barrier, but you don't know anyone. And I'm sure you guys have been through this, and like everybody there has their own like family and friends. And so I think off the field it was definitely tougher for me to find my like comfort zone there.
Of course, but like how did that time like impacted you like on your game as a player, but also like as a person? Because I guess like moving abroad like this, knowing nobody, like just chasing that dream, like you must have grown now as a person coming back to the US also.
Yeah, it was huge for me as a person and player. As a person, it really showed me like, all right, this is what I want. It was also big in seeing what my distractions were and like people in my life who really weren't healthy for that time and for what I wanted to go after with my time in life. So I think as a person, it showed me, I'm going full in for this, and like I want to put all I have towards this. And then on the field as well, I had so much time to myself that I used that time to technically just train a bunch, like stay obsessed with it, be obsessed with getting better and getting stronger, getting fitter. So yeah, I would say that time was huge, a huge time of growth for me.
So you will say it was like challenging because you left, and it was like that hard aspect of living to a new place, but it was also like really positive because you were able to like grow and learn a lot about you.
Yeah, for sure. But it's tough. Like I won't lie, because in the moment you don't see any positives. You're like, dang, it's really hard. And then you get back and you're like, wow, like I really did grow. I grew as a person, and as a player I did improve. So I think it's easier to look back on it and see the positives versus in the moment it can be really tough.
So then you come back to the US, and you don't sign professional straight away, but in 2019 you were able to sign your first like professional contract with Charlotte Independence in the USL Championship. What was it like for you? Like, was it like a dream come true, or was it just like a step towards the good direction?
Yeah, it was a weird feeling because as a kid you dream like, and as a player you dream this whole time of signing your first professional contract and finally being able to say like I'm a professional soccer player or footballer. But when I signed it, it wasn't even like that. It was kind of just like, all right, this is just another step. Now I want to play. Now I want to like go even higher. I want to go even further with this career. So it was definitely a relief. Like I felt like a chip on my shoulder had been lifted off. Some weight on my back had been lifted off. But yeah, I don't think that I thought, oh, finally, like it's done. Like I thought it was like, all right, that's some relief, but let's keep pushing now.
Okay, and especially like signing in Charlotte, which is like 15 minutes from Belmont Abbey, so that's where like all of your friends and then some part of your like extended family was there as well. So that must have been like pretty cool.
Yeah, I could never imagine it to be any better, because if you ask me where home is, I would say Charlotte. So just the way it all worked out was a huge blessing.
Yeah, of course. So you're obviously like still really early on your professional career, but if you had like a favorite moment for now from college or from when you were playing soccer, what would it be?
Favorite moment? I would probably say my first professional start against the New York Rebels up in New York. Just like their organization and stadium and everything was top class, and just you never really forget your first pro start. So I think just that moment, and like I was happy with how I played, so that one will stick with me for a while.
So hopefully you get better memories.
Yeah, for sure.
But it will still stay like a special one, of course.
Yeah, always, you always remember your first one, is what they say.
For sure. So we spoken a bit about like your career up to this point, but not really about the current situation and about like the future. So right now we're all going through like this kind of like weird phases with like the coronavirus. How was it for you, like in the US, and how this impacted you as a person and also your career?
Yeah, so when this all first started, it was back we went into lockdown March 14th, and it was the day before our home opener. And so immediately our league shut down and kind of said we're week by week type of thing, but we knew it would be a while. So there was a lot of time on your hand. We went through March through April, and then May 21st we had our first small group training. So there was 2.5 months there that were on your own, but I think mentality of certain players showed in those moments, because that's, if you look at it, off season isn't even that long. Like, your holidays in between seasons aren't even that long. So I think that the players who are in good form right now and who are fit right now and look sharp are the ones who handled that time well. So for me, I just try to use it to learn, to improve as a player and as an athlete, as well as just kind of rest and rest my mind and let the stress of everything go away, because you can't really control it. So there's no sense of worrying about it.
Of course. And was it not too hard, mentally as well, to not be able to find that motivation, maybe to know okay, I don't know when is the next game, I don't know when is the next practice session.
Yeah, I think that was one of the toughest parts for people, but I was just trying to take it day by day, and I think I found success in taking it day by day and competing against myself, whatever it may be.
So you kept training at home and tried to do some home workout.
Yeah, so I would just train at home, and we had a little competition within the team, fitness competition. So I tried to win that, and then just try to get on the ball as much as I could.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I remember, well, you always been pretty good at running and everything, so I'm not too worried about your fitness.
Yeah, somehow, some way, I stay pretty fit. So I like to take pride in that.
So that's good. That's good. So talking a bit about your future, and do you have any more, because now you sound professional, so that dream is off the list, but do you have more goals, more future, whatever, short term for this season coming up, but also long term in your career?
Yeah, so obviously first and foremost this season I want our team to make playoffs. I want us to make a run at the league title. And I want to be a player who helps our team do that. I want to be able to impact the lineup, play a bunch of games, play a bunch of minutes, and help the team in any ways I can. That's the short-term goal for this season. And going into next season, the long-term goals would be sign a bigger contract, not just money-wise, but years, and just really have a long career as long as I can and go as high as I can. I don't want to put a limit and be I want to get to this league or that league, because I always think you can get better and go higher. So yeah, I always want to keep improving, and I tell myself that every day, even if I'm not in the starting lineup. I just want to always keep improving each day, whatever that looks like.
Of course. And I saw that Charlotte was going to have a MLS team in 2022. Is that something that you had in your mind?
Yeah, for sure. When we saw that, at least for me, I was like, wow, that would be perfect. That would blow my dreams away. So yeah, it's definitely in the back of my mind, but you can't really worry too much about it. What's going to happen is going to happen. Just worry about how you play and stuff like that.
Of course. But it's still pretty cool though. I saw it and I was like, oh, that's cool. But looking at it, Charlotte is definitely a big city, a big to have an MLS team. So
yeah, for sure. I think they should have one. It'd be a no-brainer for them to have a team.
Yeah, for sure. It's no surprise, let's say.
Yeah.
So I also know that getting where you are require a lot of passions, a lot of hard work, but also a lot of determination from your side. What would you say was the biggest challenge that you had to face up to now?
The biggest challenge I would say I have to face up until now is performing at a high level each and every day. Because in the professional game, there's guys on the team, there's guys on the other team who have big names, who have been big places, and they're there. They've made it. They've made the money. They've made the fame. They have impressed all these coaches. And when you are starting your professional career out, you have to be ready and be able to perform each and every day. And that's even when I was trying to get to this point, competing against college teams or stuff like that, just performing each and every day. Because if you don't do that, then you're wasting a day and you're wasting an opportunity to get better. So I think that's probably the toughest thing, is to get up every morning and be like, all right, I have to get better today. Like, and that's something that I've learned to love, is learn to love the process of it and the process of getting better. So that's probably the biggest challenge, and but it's also like the biggest reward.
Okay, so it's like both, let's
Yeah.
say. And how do you overcome like every day when you say like, okay, today I have to get better? Like where do you find that like motivation, determination to actually like overcome it?
Yeah, so a lot of it is just, for me, it's intrinsic motivation. Like, a lot of people need like a pat on the back, or coaches like hyping them up. Good job, this, good job that. But for me, it's kind of like, I want to prove to everyone like how far I've come, and I want to prove for my family and for my future wife and future family, like I want to provide for them and show them what hard work and determination and success looks like. So for me, I want to inspire people and help people in any way I can, and I feel like I can do that by giving it my all every day.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, growing up and starting to play soccer, like you say you looked up to your brother, but did you have another like biggest inspiration, motivation that you looked up to?
Yeah, well, I don't know if this counts as like the growing up age, but in college, my head coach, he's like been a huge mentor and inspiration to me on and off the field, and he played for Coventry City's team, so he's been all over as a footballer, but just as a person in general, he's definitely helped me get to where I am today.
Okay, and did you had any like other like football player you were looking up to?
I used to love Frank Lampard when he was a player, because I'm a Chelsea fan.
Okay.
So he convinced me to be a Chelsea fan. So I used to love his passion and his fight on the field.
Yeah, a lot of hard work as well. And today, like, do you still have someone like this, like maybe your coach again, or maybe somebody else that still inspire you every day?
Yeah, it would be my coach. Like before this call, I just got off the phone with him, just talking about my week on the field, and it's good to have that. It's good to have a mentor. I would definitely recommend it to everyone, whether in sports or in business or with family life. I think having someone who's been through the trials and been through the struggles and success that you're going through is really helpful.
Okay, so you will say you learn a lot from him.
Yeah, for sure.
And do you have any quote or any like thing like that keep you motivated, or that you have like in the back of your mind some days?
Yeah, my favorite quote when it comes to that is champions are made when no one is watching. And I feel like that's like the simplest quote, and it's so true. The work you do when no one's around, or the extra work you put in after or before training, it really shows when you're playing in front of thousands, or when you're playing under the lights, like all that stuff. It shows who's willing to do the extra mile, so to say.
I like this one as well. It's really, really cool. Yeah, and I think you're right. Is really true. So like I say again, like I know that you are a player with a lot of like determination when it comes to like training and achieving like big things. But where do you think you get that from? You know?
For me, I get it from my faith, and I'm a big man of faith and put my trust in God. So that's where I get my trust and confidence and motivation. So yeah, I would definitely say I get it from him.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to talk about it a bit later, but I know that faith is like really important for you. So you will say that it's something that impacts you like on the field, but also off the field.
Yeah, 100%. Like I think it's the most important thing in my life, and my whole life. I don't want to be known as a soccer player. I want to be known as a man of God, a Christian who plays soccer. So I think for me, letting that shine through me as a soccer player really, hopefully is what people see when they look at me.
Okay, and it really help you and inspire you like to keep working towards your dream.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
That's really good, and it's really interesting. So signing pro, coming back to talking about like soccer, signing pro was obviously like not something that came to you straight after college.
Mm-hmm.
what would you say was the key to you to being able to keep that motivation up and work toward your first like pro contract in
Yeah,
even in the difficult moment?
for me, it was how close I was. Like I know I was talking to you when I was going through the process and when I was on trial with certain clubs and just how close I was getting. It's like, man, like why would I stop now? Like my career is just about to start. I can't stop now. So for me, it was like I'm going all these places, proving I'm just as good as these guys at these clubs. I just have to keep going and find the club who needs an outside back or who needs a defender in that moment. So for me, it was to answer your question, how close I was getting to the contract.
Okay, and I'm sure the mental part was really important, and being able to like control yourself and keep the focus on the mentality like was probably pretty hard. Like, how important would you say it was for you?
Yeah, for sure. And there's definitely times where like you just get broken down. Like there's so many negative thoughts in your head, and um, it can be lonely at times. Like sport is a lonely place. A lot of people will critique athletes or give athletes a bunch of hard times, but they don't realize like it's tough at times when you're not performing and when you're not where you want to be. So for me, like mentally, when I was going through those challenges and stuff, it was important for me to get outside of myself, and whether that looked like just going for a run to clear my head or going to like serve other people, help other people out, to get outside of myself and forget about whatever I was going through. That helped me a lot because it put the whole world in perspective. Like I was still super fortunate for whatever situation I was in. There's people that go through a lot worse. So for me, it would just be get out of my own negative thoughts and go do something to get my mind off it.
Okay, so like reminding yourself that you were still like grateful for what you had, like was really important for you.
Yeah, for sure. Like reminding everything I had to be grateful, thankful for, and when you list it out and look at it, you're like, all right, like I'm really thankful and really grateful.
Yeah. Okay, that that's cool. And so you faith again had a big like part of it probably as well
Yeah, yeah.
in that.
Mhm.
And during this like hard time, like did you have that one moment like consider giving up on like football and really were like, okay, you know what, I'm done and I'm gonna do something else.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say giving up, but there was one moment where like I thought I hit rock bottom with it. Um, it was the like a couple weeks. No, it was a couple months before Charlotte. I was out in Madison with a USL team out there, and I was on trial with them in preseason, and it was like the best I've ever played, and for that moment, the best I've ever played, and the coach like didn't even give me the time of day in the meeting. Like I didn't hear from him for like 2 weeks. Didn't hear a phone call, a text, or anything. And I was just thinking to myself, like, wow, this guy really didn't even notice me for like the 2 weeks I was on trial. And he can't even give me a call. He can't even message me. And so I was just in that moment, like, that's when I hit rock bottom. I was like, do I really go unnoticed as a player? And then obviously it's because there was something better in store. But yeah, that's probably the lowest of my career yet.
What made you like keep going? Like why you didn't like actually like stop and do something else?
Yeah. The reason why I didn't do it is because I knew how good I had played and I was pissed off. So I was like, I got to prove this guy wrong. Like, I have to keep going. I have to prove this guy wrong.
Okay, so you were like you were sad, but it was more like you were more mad. Like your ego was more touched by the fact that this coach didn't like give you a call back or
Yeah,
not even a
definitely.
text.
Yeah, for sure.
So you talk a bit about that in the quote that you like, but since we are speaking about like motivation and never giving up, like how do you look at like talent versus work ethic?
Yeah. So I think it's really visible in the professional game. Like you see people who are so talented and a lot of times their careers don't last as long as the guys who have some talent but are very reliable players and very hardworking. And I think for me as a player, like my biggest gift is my consistency and like how hard I'm gonna work. So I think that if you can control what you can control and keep working hard, uh, work ethic and some, like, everybody at this level has some talent, but work ethic combined with talent is unbeatable versus when you just have like somebody who's super talented and kind of goes through the motions. I feel like talent can definitely wear off.
Yeah, of course. So like work ethic always beat talent at the end.
Yeah.
Following your dream often like means like making a lot of sacrifice, like we talk a lot about that. You need to make sacrifice to do something that you love. Is it something that you can relate now that you are like professional and both from like growing up in college or right now?
Yeah, definitely. I think sacrifices was a huge thing. In college especially. Partying is obviously, like, when everybody thinks of college in America, I think of college parties. So I think sacrificing, for me back then looked like no alcohol, no parties in season while I was in season. And then out of season, I let myself have a little fun because obviously I wanted to enjoy my time. But in season, I was pretty strict on myself. I was in bed early. I wasn't drinking alcohol. I wasn't partying a lot. And I can look back on that time and see, like we talked about earlier, like those years are very important to form you as a player. So I knew my goals and knew that I didn't want to just be a good college athlete. I wanted to be a good professional. So I tried to treat my body and time like a professional would even back then. And I think it paid off in building good habits that I have now.
Okay, so you will say like the biggest sacrifice that you had to make was like being focused on your dream and make it as a professional athlete and make it like a priority and not like choosing when was the right time to go party or have some fun and when was the right time to okay, I'm focused and I'm on the season, focus on the season because later on I want to be professional. I want to be more than just a college athlete.
Yeah, for sure. I think you have to see like your goals when you're making those sacrifices. Like when it comes to making a decision, you have to see like not what you want just in that moment, but what you want a year from now. And if the actions line up for your goal from a year from now, then so be it. But like if they don't, then maybe it's not worth it.
Okay, and would you say like it was difficult for you to make those sacrifices? Like, was it something like, okay, it was like easy because I know where I want to be, or was it like something more difficult? Like sometimes you wanted to like give up, not give up, but like sometimes you wanted to go party or you wanted to like have some fun as well, and it was really maybe more difficult, let's say.
Yeah, no, there's definitely difficult times. You always want to spend time with your friends and party with them, but I think what made it easier is like what you said. You know what you want, and you know the sacrifice it's gonna take to get there. So I don't think it was too difficult in the end. What made it difficult was when like your friends come and they're like, "Hey, please come," like trying to persuade you. But yeah, no, I don't think it was too difficult for me just because I knew the goals and where I wanted to go in my career.
And today, as a professional now, like you probably have still some sacrifice. Like what are they? Are they like the same from like college or are they like more different now? You have different one.
Yeah, I think some of the sacrifices are the same, like going out with some friends who I know still here, but more about just how I use my time outside of the field. Like, am I resting and recovering, or am I always like doing stuff and not really focused on what I eat, or am I focused on my diet? And so I think those sacrifices come in different ways, but yeah, it's a lot easier now that you're living on your own and stuff, and like you can make all your decisions for yourself. But there's still some sacrifices that come into.
Of course. Something that you are like pretty like very open about it is that the fact that you've been adopted since you were a kid and then you grew up in Atlanta with your like adoptive parents. What was that like for you to grow up in Atlanta with like having this to deal with as well?
Yeah, so
I know it can be difficult.
yeah, for sure. My brother, who I spoke about earlier, he was adopted from a different family in a state called New Hampshire, and I was adopted in Texas, where I was born. So growing up, my brother and I always knew that we were adopted, and so obviously, like when you're a kid, kids tease other kids about everything, so you're getting teased and stuff. But I actually met my birth parents 2 years ago now, when I was like 22 or 23, and just meeting them and seeing the sacrifice. We talk about sacrifices and the sacrifice that my birth mom and birth dad did by giving me up to my mom and dad in Atlanta, who gave me the best life I could have ever imagined, is like the peak sacrifice, like the biggest sacrifice I couldn't even think about giving my kid away just because I knew he would have a better life with somebody else. So that's also plays a lot into my motivation and this big family that I have now. I want to make them proud. So being adopted just gives me extra family members, and so I'm super thankful for that.
Of course, and I was going to say that maybe that's maybe where that big motivation of yours come from as well.
Yeah, the family is huge for me, and like you said, my extended family around here, so the whole family aspect definitely comes to my mind when I'm going into games or just training and going through hard times. Like, we need some motivation.
Of course, I can understand that for sure.
Yeah.
And you say in the short video that you made with like Charlotte Independence, that being adopted gives you a unique perspective on, and that's an important conversation that could help others. How important it is for you to share this message?
Yeah, so I think being open about the whole adoption story and where my roots are, definitely helps people feel more comfortable about it. And I mean, since that video came out, I've had 3 supporters of the Independence message me saying that they've adopted kids or that they've been adopted, and so just having those conversations have been awesome, and seeing how many other people have questions about it or are thinking about adopting and they just want to talk to somebody who's been through a similar process has been really cool to see.
Of course. Is it something that you want to do more as well, like maybe helping other people, like being more open about it, or maybe helping like other kids that go through the same situation as you've been through?
Yeah, so I think a lot of my work that I like to do off the field is spent with kids or spent with the homeless, and a lot of those kids are either without parents or adopted or going to be adopted or fostered, and I've always dreamed about having a foundation when I have a professional career. Like, now that I'm a pro, I've always dreamed about having a foundation that helps out the youth that are less fortunate, that maybe are born into a family who are struggling financially or whose parents are really young and can't really take care of them, like was the case in my life. So I think that for me, I wanna definitely have those opportunities to help out the youth and help out those kids going through the same situations.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I hope you're gonna have your foundation, because I will be the first one to help you make it happen. So
Thank you. Yeah, I've been brainstorming, so hopefully soon I'll be able to come up with some type of foundation or some type of way to help out a organization that focuses on that.
that's amazing. And I remember, like, you also have a tattoo on your leg.
Yeah.
I don't exactly remember what you say on it. But I know it was about like love being more important that blood, right?
Yeah,
And
you remember.
yeah, of course. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, so you got it right. So it's love over blood. So for me, I, like you said, I was adopted into a family that we didn't share our genes, or we didn't share our DNA, or so to say, our blood. And so the thing that tied us together was the love we had for one another, and the love that we shared still to this day. Really shows that we're not a family that just was born into each other. We weren't blessed in that sense, but we were blessed in the sense that we have hearts that are capable of loving each other from an outside source. So that was pretty special for me to get that tattoo, and I think that it still keeps going to becoming more and more important to me to this day. When I meet my birth parents, it's like I finally see where like the love comes from, and I have extended family here, and I say, oh, it doesn't matter if we don't share the same last name or the same blood type, whatever it may be, but we're a family through love, and so that's where it came from. And yeah, I'm thankful for it for sure.
Yeah, of course, that's really beautiful, to be honest. So like you say, you recently like met with your biological parents. Was it something that you really wanted to do, like for a long time, or like was it important for you?
Yeah, it was definitely important for me. In one way, I just wanted to see what they looked like, because I've never seen anybody who's looked like me before. I always see like people will compare other people to like celebrities and stuff, but I've never been able to see somebody who looks like me. And so I really just wanted to see them. And so when I finally became the age where I was able to reach out, I really just wanted to see where I came from and meet them. And for me, it was huge to thank them for the life they gave me and for giving me life, even though it was a really tough circumstance. So yeah, that was a big point, was just to get in touch with them. And even if they didn't want to be in my life, that's okay. Like, I just wanted to say thank you and tell them how appreciative I was for their sacrifices.
Of course. So this experience has probably a big impact on you. Like, how would you describe it? Like, as you as a person, but also like for you as a like football player.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely a huge impact. For me as a person, it's just given me a lot of answers about where I came from and seeing a lot of myself in them. And also, I've been even more thankful for the parents who raised me and adopted me, just because they've been there for me from the start. And then as a player, it's just giving me more motivation, like more of my determination and more of my why I do this. Like, I have more people in my corner and more people to like play well for and more people to keep going for. So yeah, it's definitely motivated me.
Of course, that's awesome. So you play like football pretty much your life. What impact do you think he had it on you and on your life? What did you learn from the sport?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing I learned from the sport is like when you grow up with a lot of a lot to be thankful for, like in a family who's pretty well off and a lot of stuff goes your way and you don't really go through the struggles and trials that maybe some kids who literally have nothing go through. Being in sport for me has taught me, like, if things don't go your way, that doesn't mean you just give up. Like, you have to find ways to get better. And so the next time you go to do that thing that didn't go your way the first time, it's going to go right the second time. And if it doesn't go right the second time, then that's okay. Go back, do what you have to do, and go a third time. But I think it's taught me, like, there's always a way to succeed, and there's always a way to get to your dreams. You just have to figure out and be honest with yourself about what you need to work on or what you need to improve to get there.
Of course. And you also have done like a bit of coaching, and like you say, you've been like involved with like some activity with kids and also with football. How is important like for you to be able to do that and to kind of like give back?
Oh yeah, for me, that's one of my favorite things about this career is how I can have an impact on the community and just really use my platform of being a pro athlete to get involved with whatever I can get involved with. And I think that using the time I have in this career to help people out and impact people around me, I think is something that I never want to look back on and be like, dang, I should have done this or I should have done that. Like, I want to do it all while I can do it and help out as much as I can.
Of course, okay. And being like a professional soccer player now, do you see yourself as a like role model in a way?
Yeah, I think I do have some people that look up to me as a role model, but I try to not see myself above them and like try to stay humble about it but a lot of the times the people that come to me with questions and advice, I know the situations they're in and I've been where they are before, and thankfully I've been able to help out. But yeah, I try to see myself just as a normal person and help out where I can.
Okay, so you try to stay like humble but still help.
Yeah,
and
for
still
sure.
have like a impact, like a positive impact if you can.
Yeah, definitely.
And then hopefully it won't happen for many years, but once you retire, like what would you like to do?
Once I retire, yeah, like you said, hopefully it won't happen for many, many years. But I would probably say I want to get involved with either coaching or something that works with kids. And I don't know what that looks like yet, whether that's like starting a organization that helps kids coming from less fortunate backgrounds, something with soccer maybe, and incorporating soccer in education, or maybe just being a college coach. Yeah, I'm not really sure what it looks like, but I definitely want to do something where I can impact players and people around me all the time and be like the person that they can look up to and go for help.
Of course, and using your personal experience to actually help other people, whether if it's in a football place or just outside in life in general, right?
Yeah.
So you talk a bit about like what you do outside football, which is like taking care of your body and also like trying to help other. Um, do you do something else as well?
Yeah, I have some hobbies that I do. I love to fly fish and golf and mountain bike. So I like to be outside when I have the time. Some days off, I like to do that.
Okay. And except like the foundation thing, do you have any other like project that you would like to share with us that you're working on?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I do is I work pretty hands on with the homeless people in Charlotte. It's not through an organization or anything like that, and I don't really share this with a lot of people because I like to do it behind closed doors. But I'll just create a bunch of goodie bags and go down and hang out with them and hand them out, which has been tough with COVID. So right now it's just kind of been handing out the bags. But yeah, I've definitely been working on that, and then I'm trying to form that into a bigger organization where we can get donors and grants from people to make it a more of an official thing. And then the other thing I started to do right before coronavirus, so I haven't in a while, is working with the youth group at church. So I ran a couple game nights for them and hang out with them. So that was awesome as well.
Okay, so you want to keep going that once you can again with like this whole COVID situation. And something I just wanted to talk about with you as well is like your diet. I know you've been vegan for a few years now, um, and I know that still a lot of like many people seem to think that a plant-based diet isn't fit for active people or especially not for professional athletes. Um, what do you think about that, and what do you like about being a vegan?
Yeah, so I mean, started to see improvements when I changed my diet my junior year in college, sophomore year in college. I immediately saw, like, after 2 months, I saw my recovery time improve. I saw like my blood flow, like I was rushing after workouts. I would just like flush everything through, and I wasn't getting as sore, and I was able to do more trainings and more intense trainings, and my cardio and my fitness went up. So that's like the main thing I love about it is how light and strong I feel at the same time. I don't feel like weighed down by and bloated by the food that I eat. And then I would just say to people who aren't familiar with it and don't think that it's fit for a professional athlete, there's luckily now we live in a time where there's so much research that comes out, and you can see that all these nutrients, for example, like people's main thing with plant-based diet is protein, and you can get just as much protein from eating a steak as you can with eating a salad with chickpeas, broccoli, spinach, and quinoa. So I think, for me, when I did my research and knew this is what I have to eat to get all my nutrients for the day, and it's all coming from plants, I felt so much better about myself, and I could feel my body feeling better as well.
Okay, and so you say you started in junior in college. Why did you change to a plant-based diet?
Yeah, so I was always looking for ways to better myself, like we talked about earlier, and the coach who I mentioned, he's plant-based as well, and I asked him one day, I just said like, oh, how long have you been doing that? He's like, oh, wow, I feel a lot fitter and stuff like that. So he just asked me like, why don't you try it then if you're curious? So I just decided to try it, and I looked at it as a way to get better as a player, and further my career and like longevity of my career. And so once I tried it, I never looked back. Like I saw the results and was like, there's no point of switching.
Okay, so you will say that you really like saw a big impact into your physical like performance and also like into the football player that you were.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Okay, and is it something that you like to share to others and try to promote, or is it more like a personal decision that you were just doing and it works well for you?
I think that people notice it like on their own, and then we'll talk about it. Like, for example, the team, when you go on away trips and the meals are brought to you, and they always see you don't have meat, so it starts conversations. And I think being one of the fitter players on the teams I've been on in the past has always come up too, and I would probably say like some of it's due to my diet, and so that's what I tell players or people when they ask.
Of course, that's good to know. So lastly, since this podcast is about sharing the very unique story of different athletes and inspire others to keep chasing their dreams, if you could give one advice to everyone listening who has big dreams and are looking to chase them, what would it be?
So I heard this quote a while ago, and it would be, don't have any 0 days. So a 0 day is where you do absolutely nothing to get closer to your dream or closer to your goal. And now it's not saying that you have to go and work out and lift weights every day. It's not saying you have to run sprints every day or train every day because you'd get injured. But watching film, meditating, sleeping well, eating well, all of those play a factor. So don't have a day where you do zero good to reach your goal. No 0 days.
All right, I love it, love it. It's really, I think, is actually true because the actual 1% that you do, even if you have a bad day and you do just 1%, is still gonna get you closer than if you have a 0 day.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Like you've heard the saying, even if you just make your bed, just for your mentality, stuff like that.
yeah.
Just always keep that in the back of your head.
So for those who would like to follow you, get in touch with you, where can they do it? Is
Yeah.
that
So
Instagram?
yeah, Instagram it's just at Clay Dimick. Twitter is at Clay Dimick6. Facebook Clay Dimick. Yeah.
Okay. So we will put everything in the description anyway, so people can get in touch with you if they have any question. And
Yeah. Sounds
so
good.
thank you so much, Clay. It's been very nice to talk to you and hearing more about your inspiring story. Good luck with the ongoing season and good luck for the future. We wishing you the best, of course.
Sweet. I really appreciate it, and thanks for having me on the show. It's awesome to see you guys doing amazing things over there. So keep it up. I'm gonna be following for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.